The National Peace Committee has met with presidential candidates, their running mates, party chairmen, Independent National Electoral Commission and civil society groups as part of efforts to ensure peaceful elections next month, chaired by former head of state, General Abdulsalam Abubakar, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka of Sokoto Diocese, and the Sultan of Sokoto, Abubakar Saad. The committee admonished the candidates to put the unity and peace of Nigeria first. Tunji Olanikbekun compiled the story.
This is a peace accord of the 18 presidential candidates with the National Peace Committee ahead of the presidential election. But the peace meeting started with a disagreement that initially threatens the takeoff of the parley. Shortly after the gathering was called to order, Omoyele Sowore objected to smaller parties being pushed behind in every peace meeting, while the bigger parties are given the front row. He insisted that the seats should be allocated in alphabetical order for equity and justice.
No, sir. We have an important observation, and this was the result. Parties are in alphabetical order. Here, as you did the last time, you put the big parties in front and relegate us to the background. Let the parties appear on these seats the same way parties appear on ballot papers on election day. Thank you very much.
It took a passionate appeal by former head of state, General Abdulsalam Abubakar, and an assurance that such will be corrected in future before CAM returned to the peace parley.
I have taken note of his observation, and as much as possible, we'll try to make amends. We are not being partisan in this issue, regardless of the mistakes that has been made. It is not intentional that we are promoting any candidate or any political party.
The former head of state, in his opening remark, pleads with the candidates to put the nation first as they go into the February poll, bearing in mind that governance is only possible in an atmosphere of peace.
I appeal to all of you to be moderate in your language, show respect to the views and concerns of one another, and listen to the concerns expressed. We are not here to find out who is wrong, but what is wrong, and to see how to correct it.
The peace parley then went into a closed-door session. At the end of the meeting, stakeholders expressed their position and expectations ahead of the election.
A lot of people spoke about justice and some of their experiences in some of the states. Again, we're going to go back via the chairman, who's the leader of the group, to see how we can make representations also to the governors, speak to the political party members, the chairman and the candidates, and to see how we can all sync our differences and make sure that we work together for the greater good, because at the end of the day, it's the common good that is very, very important.
We are peace-loving people. We are people-oriented party. We are those who are bringing that desired change Nigeria has been anticipating for. So we are taking the lead in ensuring that peace prospers as we foster freedom and prosperity for this dear nation.
There needs to be an audit of the process and the IT systems to give the parties and the candidates the confidence that we have a level playing field. Let's know what is involved. Let's know how the system is going to be transmitted. Let's know how it's going to be collated. Let's know what equipment, what software, what hardware is there to assure us that we won't have a scenario where you have results and you tell.
This is the second peace accord to be signed by political parties in a bid to guarantee a peaceful political transition due on May 29th this year.
Well, in the meantime, the United States of America says it is working with the Nigerian government to ensure a free, fair and credible general election in Nigeria beginning from February 25th. The U.S. Consul General in Lagos, Wills Stephen, disclosed this in Asaba during an open government town hall meeting and the signing of the Open Government Partnership Agreement by governorship candidates in Delta State.
We've been working together with the Nigerian government as partners to support INEC and civil society in forums like today's forum to allow people to hold candidates accountable, hear them, engage on the issues so that people are strengthened and people are feeling like they can participate. We've also provided nearly $50 million worth of technical assistance to INEC and others to strengthen the mechanisms to allow Nigerians to feel comfortable that when they vote, their vote will be counted.
We have an unapologetic bias for the Niger Delta, being a peculiar region in Nigeria that produces the wealth on which this country's economy depends, but however is riddled with so much poverty, infrastructural decay, environmental degradation.
The state action plan, which has been done from 2022 to 2024. And we have 4 thematic areas. It's necessary that they should know. We have the physical transparency, environmental sustainability, social security, and citizens' engagement.
I believe in the next administration or before this administration ends, there will be full implementation of all the commitments and the action plans of the OGP in the state.
Signing is not enough. It is the proactiveness that is needed to stir civil society to compete at the global level. It is time for us to continue, to position ourselves in a way that civil society can even be the 4th arm of our government.
All right, Steve, a lot to discuss here. I mean, I think it is important that, the global electioning bodies are, looking at our elections, like the U.S., suing for free, fair, and credible elections. As you know, the president hopefully would leave this legacy because he's always talking about the fact that what he wants is a free, fair, and credible election this year. As we'll also see in the Abdulsalami-led committee, the peace committee that took place, I believe,
Abuja.
Yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Correct. It was on Friday, where Shoere was also talking about justice. I mean, I think that meeting, which was supposed to be a peace meeting, turned into something else with comments made by Shoere. He talked about the fact that, the parties should have been arranged in that meeting in an alphabetical order. That this is what he's talking about, the fact that there is no justice in Nigeria just because of that as well. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Well, I mean, let's pick it from the American, suing for peace. That's a commendable, intervention.
Yes, absolutely.
The British government has done the same thing.
Absolutely.
That's what all the NGOs are saying. And of course, that will be what would be expected when the election observers and the monitoring groups, will come in droves next month and in March to observe the elections. It's a global standard, practice, and Nigeria should not be an exception. I'm sure that in the days going forward, as we inch closer to the elections, there will be categorical statements from world bodies, essentially to ensure that the elections are free, they're fair, and that they are credible. What will not be welcome will be a partisan intervention, and we've seen something akin to that in the past. So we commend that. British government has done the same thing. As a matter of fact, the whole point of turning the Chatham House into a mecca of sorts for Nigerian politicians is to willingly pledge their allegiance to the fact that they will make the elections free and fair and that it will be peaceful. In any case, they all signed the peace accord except for the candidate of the APC at that time, which he has now signed because he was part of Friday's meeting in Abuja. You mentioned the part about Shoere, and we discussed this a bit yesterday, because he's basically the one that has been trending.
Yes.
Trending on the strength of the things that he said at that peace meeting, and on the strength of the pictures that he posted, about the candidate of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. To take it from the first part, I think that Shoere was in order, when he drew the attention of the chair of the peace committee, the former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, to the fact that it has been done before. and don't relegate people on account of the fact that you think that their parties are not the leading parties. That if you want to arrange the sitting, it ought to. He's not saying that that ought to be the standard, but he say that should be the standard. He say it ought to go according to alphabetical order, because that's what INEC will do on the ballot paper. And he also made reference to the fact that in the previous encounter, which he didn't like, a running mate represented one of the candidates, and that running mate was allowed to sit in front, whereas a candidate, a presidential candidate, was relegated to the background. I think that was an important observation. A running mate is not a running mate. If you're, shall we say, principal or the candidate himself or herself is not available, yes, you are representing him, but you can't, on account of that, shove or push aside another bona fide candidate. So Sowore was in order. He also made a number of interventions, which if you saw the entire video, you see the maturity with which General Abdulsalami Abubakar, responded. First, he acknowledged the fact that, that things might not be perfect and that they were willing to make correction. And he did say that if it turns out that Sowore was not satisfied, that he will be free to take his leave.
Absolutely.
He didn't, and I think what Sowore did, was smart. You have made your point, stay there and observe.
Yes.
It was because he stayed that he was able to take the pictures well, we don't know who took the pictures, but then he was the one that shared them of Ashwaja. And we did say yesterday that we can't say, because there's no proof, there's no evidence to suggest that the candidate of the APC indeed slept throughout the meeting. We saw at a point that it looked like he dozed off or he was sleeping. But incidentally, as we predicted yesterday, the camp of Ashwaju has also apparently released from their camp a picture of Omoyele Sowore himself looking like he dozed off.
Yes.
I mean, again, it's picture. We won't say this as a matter of fact, but it did look. It does look like, his eyes are closed and that's a sleeping or a dozing position, which would be incredibly ironical, you saying that one person in different shots though slept throughout, but at the same time in one sleep second we could see you also caving in to nature. So I mean the message there is that let's be careful.
Yeah, I like the way you said it, caving into nature. But, as a lot of people are saying, Sowore obviously probably is using that picture as a campaign tool as well, I mean, the peace committee was made to, let the people within their parties to be, peaceful in their campaigns. Yeah. And you can see that this is an obvious dig at the APC with that type of, that sort of rhetoric out there.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that the pictures on either side, doesn't, they don't look nice, especially if you have, as we do of the APC candidate, of different pictures, showing different stages of not being aware of what was going on. We saw only one of Sowore. Neither is complementary to the candidates.
Absolutely.
But then you do not crucify anybody for, caving in, to nature when nature calls once in a while. Yeah. We have seen the internet Twitter especially is awash with world leaders all over. We know what these people go through. Whether you are young or you are agile, it's got little to absolutely actually to do with your age or your health status. Yes. Nature calls at any time.
Absolutely. So what was quite different at this National Peace Committee, if you recall, there was this outrage when the APC or Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not attend that peace accord signing.
He sent a representative.
Yes, he sent a representative at the time, and there was all that.
Yes.
So it was nice to see that he attended this particular one. But what was also different was that the candidates of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and his running mate
didn't show up.
Yeah, they were absent.
Atiku Abubakar also didn't show up.
But he sent a representative.
Correct.
I think it is important that they all show up for these types of meetings. I believe that...
They all signed before now, though.
Yes.
And from what General Abdulsalami is saying, there will be yet, another... bringing them all together again, just to reaffirm their commitment to the whole point
of, I mean, we do know that Peter Obi and his running mate, they were in Kaduna, Kafanchan, I believe, at the rally
so
there.
They were busy, obviously.
They were there, but it's important that
it would have been nice to send a representative, the chairman of the party, for example, who, according to Showore, on the side of the APC was the one who spoke on behalf of the party. He's the chair of the party. If the candidate, decided to not to say a word and the party chair is there, it's all good. It's about the party. It's the party's name that will be on the ballot anyway.
Yes, it's important that we continue this conversation.
Constructive engagements will be useful, for the elections, shading each other here and there.
No, necessary.
We're part of the game, but then let's focus on,
we have just a few days
on the real issues.
The issues.
Few
focus
weeks.
on the issues.